All right. Welcome, everybody. Okay. So, welcome, everybody, to, I believe it's the start of week 7, if I'm not mistaken, which is actually really cool. Technically, I think we're on day 31. Yeah, day 31, the start of week 7, which is amazing. Okay. So we'll go and start with question of the day. And then after that, I do have a hot key for us all. And then, after that, then we'll go through the homework. Let you guys kind of show me what you show everyone what you got. Okay, so today's question of the day is if you could master any musical instrument, which would it be? Um, preferably one that you haven't mastered already, if you have, maybe. Um, and I'm gonna say the saxophone. I think the saxophone is super cool. I really love songs with with a nice like saxophone in it. Um, I think there's one like I think it's "Feel So Good" by Chuck Mangione. That's a really good song. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the saxophone. I was gonna say like the piano or guitar or something, but no, saxophone. And yeah, Adrian, you're the first on my screen, so please take it away.
So uh I would go for drums because I used to do percussion back in high school for a concert band, and I did a lot of percussion instruments, but I really like drums, especially like I don't know if you guys ever heard of Anderson .Paak. When he drums and he sings at the same time, and like his style of music is, I think it's R&B. I forgot what exactly it was. He's smooth. Uh his songs are smooth, I would say. And like d doing drums and singing at the same time is actually really cool. Or like hard. It's hard to do because like you're trying to keep the rhythm and you're also trying to sing to the song that you're making. So I thought that was really cool. And it's like maybe something I want to do eventually if I have my own drum set, but that's really expensive right now. So Matt.
Hello.
Yep.
Um, hmm. I'd say I'd say the flute. I tried to play it when I was younger, but I wasn't really like feeling it. So, but like now, I mean, I know to play the piano, but I kind of want to learn how like to play the flute. Yeah, junior.
So I'm gonna go with the piano. And the reason is I remember when I was young, like I was in kindergarten or whatnot, my parents had started me going to this after school piano class and whatnot, and I hated it. I didn't like going to practice or whatnot. So I would play on the monkey bars, and I play on the bars so much that my hands would get all blistered. Like I was literally walking into school with bandages, and so that was my way of getting out of piano um lessons. But um many years down the road, I wish they had just forced me to go to those lessons, because I would have wished that I could play an instrument like that. I had one friend that could just play it. And it's just a beautiful instrument, and all instruments, I guess. But because of that, I'm forcing my kids to learn a instrument. I don't care what instrument that they're going to learn, but they got to learn something. And with my oldest right now, he started off with guitar, ukulele, then he's starting to bridge into like piano and the drums and whatnot. So I think that love for music is very important. And again, it's something that will go with you for a long time. So it's still on my bucket list, the piano. Kiko.
Yo, man, I'm gonna go with Adrian and the drums. Um, I have I learned guitar on my own, and then YouTube came along and made it that much easier. Uh, it's just I don't have the coordination with my feet and my hands, and for some reason my brain to I can keep a count. It's just everything else in between is just too complex. I don't understand. But I did manage a band a couple years back. They're from Guam, and Freddie Berdalio actually is a drummer that's a lead singer, which is what Adrian was getting into. And you're right, it's absolutely the hardest thing other than a bass that you could like sing and play at the same time because the rhythms don't match at all. And it just it trips me out. Like I used to sit at the sound checks and it would be complete silence in a room, and then they'd just say okay on a count, and then they go into like a melodic tune, and it's crazy, right? Like it's like just flipping the switch on the radio. So yeah, I would love to learn how to play drums one day, but if I have to start with congas or even a shaker or whatever, I mean I have to start somewhere, right? But I just don't have that. It's weird. I can play a lot of other things, including piano and whatnot, but it's just when it comes to drums, I sit there and I'm just like, what the hell do I do? You know? So yeah, that's my take.
That's really interesting. I've never thought about that, but yeah, I'd imagine that'd be super hard. Thank you guys for sharing that. And yeah, Junior, I'm gonna put my daughter started piano. I'm gonna definitely agree there. I wish that I was doing guitar when I was younger, and I just whatever, being a kid and stuff, and yeah, I wish I did too. Okay, so for the first time in a while, I do key of the day that I want to share with you guys. There's a lot of hotkeys out there, and honestly, I think if you just hold down like for Mac, if you hold down Command, I don't know if you guys can see it, but like there's like literally a list of hotkeys. For Windows, I'm sure there's something similar. But the hotkey of the day that I want to show you guys is one that is probably one of my favorite hotkeys, hands down. So I really, really think the first thing I'm going to say is the reason I haven't showed you guys this yet is because I think it is very important or it is very good to understand where your file, like what are the files and folders in a Rails application. Like I think you guys should automatically roughly or like be able to very easily find like if I was like, okay, let's go to your schema. All right, DB schema. If I was to tell you to go to the routes, all right, config routes. If I was to tell you to go to the controllers, app, controllers, here's my employee's controller. Or my model, here's my app, models, employee model, whatever it may be. I think that's really important to understand. So that's why I haven't shown you guys this hotkey yet. But one of my favorite hotkeys for Mac, it's Command, and for Windows, it's Control. So it's Command P, and then that brings up, you'll see this thing pop up here. And then from there, now I could just type in whatever I want. So I can type in like routes, click enter. Now I'm in the routes. I can type in schema, click enter. Now I'm in the schema. I can type in controller. Okay, cool. Here's all the controllers. Which one do I want? I want the employees controller. Solid. Here I'm in the employees controller. And so I love this hotkey. This is probably one of my favorites for sure that I do. Probably my favorite, I'd say, if like off the top of my head. Maybe other than like Alt Tab, Command Tab kind of thing. But yeah, so this is Command or Control P. And so basically it allows you to open up this kind of search for files by name thing. And then from there, you can search through any file it is that you want in this specific VS Code session. Like I obviously can't go to like my desktop. If I type in desktop or whatever, like it's only whatever's open within this VS Code window. And I think you can also type in, yeah, so you can also type in like the folder. So like if I type in models, it shows me all of the different files that are within the models folder as well. So like this is just a really cool thing that you can do. So yeah, so you'll literally see me go like Command P, and then I'll just start typing in, cool, I'm in my schema. And so like I do that all the time. So you guys have probably seen me do that a million times. And so yeah, again, I think it's very important to understand where things are, which again is why I didn't show you guys this yet. But now that we're kind of getting more familiar with it, I do want to share that with you guys because it can just save you so much time. Because if you'd imagine like if I open up here, let me show you guys this one. Let's see. So here's like this application has, I think, easily over 1,000 different files and stuff like that between everything that's in here. So like if I type in controller, look at how many different controllers there are. Still going. So like the point I'm trying to make here is like for me to go through and I'm gonna go like let's say this controllers and choose which one it is. Yes, I could do that, but at the same time, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna go like, okay, menu items, controller. All right, cool. Here's the controller for the menu items or whatever it may be. And it just saves you so much time. Yeah, so that is a hotkey of the day. Haven't given one of those in a while. Where is this thing at? Okay, so let me pull up this hotkeys folder and put the command in there. Any file in VS Code from the folder slash directory that is open. All right, cool. Okay. I've been waiting to share that one with you guys. All right. So the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to let everybody walk through their Twitter API, see what's going on with that, seeing how it's going. Yeah, and I just want you guys to kind of share what it is you did. You guys don't need to go into super crazy detail, but at least explain what it is you did, and then how the association works maybe. And then from there, I'd like for you guys to do this basically in Rails console, show us how you can use the association to get like, for example, all of a user's tweets, or if you have a tweet, you can see whose tweet is that, basically. What is the user for that tweet? And yeah, kind of just go through that. Um, Solid. Do we have volunteers or am I pulling up a random number generator?
I'll go first.
Nice, Junior. Thank
So
you.
I'll go first because mine it doesn't work, but I know I'm missing like something like a comma or I don't know what it is, but I saw the error that I had before last week and I figured it out last week, but I don't know what's happening right now. So
Gotcha.
let's go here.
Let's take a look.
All right. Okay, so this is the one that we were doing last week. So let me just everybody can see it? Like,
Yes.
okay. All right. So let's go and do this. I think I got the history up over here, so let's go all the way up.
Yeah.
So it has up to the git status over here. Let's go see. What did I do here?
Nice.
Okay, so created the API on the terminal. I think the terminal is over here. So I created the API and I kind of I never close these because I kind of look at what I did before, but so I created the API, did all of that, then went over here, did the initial commit after doing the migration of the database, right? After we do the database.
Mm-hmm.
Did that, went through over here, create. Um, oh no, this is it. No, this is not it. No, this is it. Sorry.
No
So
worries.
I did that, picked it up. Everything is good on GitHub. So I'm working on this Rails server. Um, let's see where it's kind of hard for me to read through this, but yeah, Git status again. So everything worked up to the point where, well, I guess let me work on explaining this. Okay, so the first thing is I did the user model. So
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't there. Then I did the tweet model. So and this wasn't there. So when you go to the schema, this is what I populated when I created those models. So I did first I did the users. So string username, string user email. So just those two. Migrated it. Then when I did the tweets, I did it different than what we did last week. Last week we added just the like say the text tweak, and then we did an addition of this user ID at the end. But I just did it right off the bat because in the spreadsheet notes, I kind of verified like, okay, this was supposed to be the user ID. It wasn't supposed to be the ID over here. So did that. Everything went up. I created some data So user one, and it was like one dot at test.com. And I did the rest, right? Two at this.com. So these went through. It shows over here, and then there's that one thing I remember where you had made it filtered, but I didn't play around with any of that yet.
No worries.
So I did the three and then committed it. Then here we go. So I made the model for the tweet,
Hmm.
created the data, hello from one, hello from two, hello from three, shows up, and then committed it, status, blah, blah, blah. Then over here, this is all still just GitHub stuff, push. So okay, so this is where I tried to create a new tweet. So I have the three users and I have the three initial tweets. And I try to create a new tweet. So tweet is equal to this. Hello again from one. So this would be the fourth one, and I assigned it to user ID. And then this error came up with all of this stuff. And I tried to play around with something. I tried it again. It still came up. I tried it again, still. Tried it again, and still. I kept playing around with stuff, and I went back and I looked over here. It says, okay, as the user ID, or not, these are not user IDs, these are IDs, but it seems like it's not linking the user ID back to um, the tweets. So this is what I put. I put belongs to user and has many tweets, but I'm not sure why it's not linking up. I remember I saw the same error from last week over here. I saw some similar error. It was that whole long bunch of stuff here. And I think the way that I fixed it was that I updated the records for the IDs, but this one over here was after we added those after the initial model creation. So I'm not exactly sure what's breaking on this side. I'm still kind of playing with it, but
Well, the first thing I wanted to say, everything looks right to me. That's a really weird error. But the first thing I'll say is the error looks like that you were getting before in that other API versus this one is different from what
okay.
it looks like. Um, yeah, so unknown attribute versus if you scroll up in the error here, or where scroll up or down, I'm not sure. Maybe up right there. Right there. So missing model class username for the tweet hashtag username association versus unknown attribute. So unknown attribute to me, that's a relatively straightforward one in the sense that whenever I see that, it just means we're referencing something that doesn't exist. So that could be because we misspelled department ID. That could be because department ID is not on the employee model yet or the database table, etc. Like one of those two things, like basically we're using something that doesn't exist. Versus this one over here, missing model class username for the tweet hashtag username association. You can specify a model with the class name option. This one to me looks really weird. Um, I'm actually not sh I've never seen this error before, to be honest. And so I'm trying to figure out homework API colon 4. Could you do a shift command F? I want you to do a global search for username. Like
Shift command
username.
F.
Yep, that's like the global yep, exactly. So just type in username now. I want to see like are you using username somewhere in the code? Okay, so in your schema, it looks like you have a username. What is that? Can you click on like this right here? What are you using username for? Oh, okay. So can you do user dot first or something? I want to see what a user looks like when you created it.
Over here.
Yeah, let me see just what is yeah, go to Rails console.
Oh, and then
Do like user
username.
dot first.
First.
No, just do like user dot first. So username is gonna right now it's be nothing because yeah. So
Oh,
capital U.
oh, oh, yeah, that's right. Because it's a model.
Correct. Okay, cool. So we see there's username, user email. Could could we see that error again on the top? Sorry. This is a really interesting error. I've actually never seen that error before. Okay, missing model class username for the tweet username association. Okay, interesting name error for the class name. Is there like an error number? Homework API colon 5. Hmm. And the only place to say, yeah, this database, YAML is fine, deployed at YAML, that's fine. We're not using that. This is the migration you created for the schema. We don't care about the users.yaml. Hmm. Okay. And I've never seen this error. I'm gonna look this error up. Okay, give me like 1 minute. If we can't find it in like 1 or 2 minutes, I will circle back to it basically.
One thing that was pretty cool when I was doing this is I was I was doing this. So I kind of was able to kind of like write out my steps again, just kind of as I was going through all of it, and I was like, okay, all right. So I guess it gets everything up to my association, and that's where it just kind of went bust. But
Yeah, no, I like that. I
that was
like that you're noting it all, and I like how you were saying you don't like to clear your terminals because you can see what you did, and I like that a lot. I actually like that a lot. Um, Let me see. I'm looking up that error though. Let's see. Can I see your tweet model?
yeah. So how do I?
Go
Or
and just click. Yeah, click on that top thing.
and then
Yeah,
to
belongs to user. Okay. No, that's fine. Could I see your user model real quick? Yeah, that looks fine too. Mm. Could we try creating a tweet one more time? Just for, yeah, you can do like whatever tweet equals tweet dot create.
think I think I put tweet text. Let's see. Yeah, tweet text. And then user. I'll just make it two.
Solid. Okay, it's working.
Mhm.
Okay, so now to actually test the association, you should be able to go. So do like user equals user dot first or user dot second. Actually do that second because you use the ID of two. So capital U in user though. Yep. Okay, click enter. All right, cool. So now you should be able to do like user dot tweets to grab all of that user's tweets. There you go.
Oh yeah, does work.
Yeah, and then click Q if you want to exit out of that. And then now you
So
should
was
be able to also go
true?
tweet.user to see, because right now that tweet is the tweet that you just created. And so you can see who created that tweet basically is what this says, or like who owns that tweet in a sense. Lowercase t. because you're using the tweet variable that you just used, that you just created. Because you did
Oh,
tweet
okay.
equals tweet.create. So now, yeah, exactly. So now you can go tweet.user. Cool. So there's the user that created that tweet. Technically, obviously you're the one that created it, but that's the person who technically owns it per se, you know?
Huh.
I
So
think
was it just I
I think
it
what
just
when I was looking it up, I think what happened, and the reason why I asked to see your schema, or not your schema, your tweet model, I think it's possible that there was like some misspelling somewhere where you
mm,
might have accidentally put username versus user. And so then that's why it was confused of like, hey, what is a user? It was like, it was just thinking that you're doing a username to, instead of user, you're using username when obviously you're
okay.
using user. And so I think that's what happened. I couldn't be 100% sure because I like we like everything's working fine now, but I think that might have been something that happened. Yeah. Solid. There you go. Great work. It's working.
Cool.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Junior. Volunteers for up next. Going once, going twice. All right. Random number generator. Random number generator. 1 to 3. All right. So Adrian, you're 1. Matt, you're 2. Kiko's 3. So let me get a random number generator. First number is 2. All right, Matt. Sorry, You're up next. Next number 3, Kiko, and then finally is Adrian. All right. So Matt, Kiko, Adrian. All right, Matt. Feel free.
Hello.
Yep.
So for mine, when I started it, I kind of messed up. So I have I created my or first I created my user model. I did the same thing as the work API. I added like a validates name and email, and then I also created a tweet model. So like if they have a tweet, and then I also for the tweet I put belongs to user. Then the user one I put has many tweets, and then for my schema, um, I create I put users has a name and an email. Then tweets has a tweet text, and then or like when I was making it, I accidentally put a tweet ID to the users, but it should have been like the other way around. Like like this tweet belongs to this user. So I kept creating. I had to do a change, or I had to do a remove. So I did a Rails generate migration,
Mhm.
remove column from the user's tweet ID, which was a string. Then I added another column to the tweets table, and I added a user ID, and it was going to be an integer, I think. And then when I made it, it looks like this. Um, so it'll be like mm, so I'd create a user, then it'll be like the name, let's say like Matt's, and then the email. We'll just do Matt at tweet.com. Oops. Mm, right. And then I create my tweet. And oh, sorry. I'd create my tweet, and then um when I created the the user, it gave me an ID. So I create my tweet, it'll be like tweet underscore text, and then I'll put like hello, and then put my user's ID, and it'll be 7. And then you can see that it it worked because If I didn't do it, I think it look like this. Mm, hmm. The ID would be nil because it doesn't belong to anyone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But if you do, but when you do add the user ID, it doesn't become nil because it belongs to someone.
Correct.
And then, yeah, that's it.
Solid, solid. One last thing before you go. Honestly, I think your explanation was perfect. I like that you showed it working and also it not working. The one last thing I'm going to ask that you do real quick is I want you to show me the association, like similar to what I had Junior do at the end, where like you do like, I want you to show me all of this user's tweets, for example. So like whoever's your ID of one, let's say, I want you to find all of their tweets by using the association if that makes sense. So like user equals user dot first or user dot find one, and then from there do like user dot tweets. Because I want you to see that if you have a user, like if you have a user's, like if you have a user, whatever, like that for whoever that user is, you can get all of their tweets through this association. So lowercase u, because you're referencing that variable that you just created. So like if you, yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. So now we can see user is Matt at tweet.com. Perfect. And so now if you go user.tweets, you should be able to get all of Matt's lowercase u because you're using the variable that you just created. Let's go ahead and click enter. Solid. So right now Matt doesn't have any tweets. So let's go ahead and find a different user that does have tweets. Do like user equals user dot second. Basically reassign what user is until you find a user with tweets. Cool. Yeah, do lot last. Perfect. Solid. There you go. And so those are all of Matt of that second Matt's tweets, you know? And so exactly. And so the last thing is I want you to show me the opposite way now. So basically I want you to do like tweet equals tweet dot first and then find who owns that tweet by doing tweet dot user. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Mm.
And so now we can see if you have a tweet, you can find who owns that tweet through the association. You know, it goes both ways. And so that's what I want you to understand. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Solid. Everything else here looks solid. Actually, great work. And I like that you explained that in the beginning. You kind of had it backwards and you had to figure out, okay, cool. I had to switch that basically. Give me 1 second, guys. I think I locked my girlfriend out again. Give me 1 sec. Sorry.
Hey Matt, um, your own thing, it shows the email, right? Like
Oh, yeah, I think I went
unlock
to,
that. Did you do you had to do that, right?
oh yeah, I think it was I forgot where it was. I think initializers. Oh, so if you go to like config and then
Yeah.
initializers, and then I think it would show like email, and then you would just delete it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Perfect
Mhm.
answer. Sorry. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for going through that, Matt. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's perfect. Config initializers, filter parameter, and you just remove the email. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Matt.
Mhm.
All right, I think next up we have Kiko.
Yep. Let me share my screen real quick. I was testing some stuff. I'm getting errors, but all right. Man, I'm not like Junior, and I do have a tendency to just close my laptop and sometimes it doesn't save the terminal. So um let me start from the kind of beginning. Uh so I created the Twitter API and then I was in another one, so I had to code space in da da da. And then I'm having trouble with the association part, but building all of this stuff is kind of all the same. index, show, create, save, update, and destroy. Here's my tweets controller. I included the user just so it when it prints out, I'll show you guys in a minute. When it prints out, it has pretty much all the information. Um, let me show you guys. So, here's my user's index. And then if I go to users ID, I can pull up just the simple stuff or oh shit. Sorry. Oh, that's not good.
All good, all good.
Let me go back to my routes. Hold on. The one thing I was having a lot of issues with was I do have the tweets and users con or the model that belongs to and the has many. It's just I didn't build a table out yet. So it's just all printing out and rendering in the same JSON format. Let me go back. So here's the users index and then here's the tweets index. So I got pretty much I made them just do different things, but it always adds in the username and ID. I don't know why it did it, but I just added it in there. So
Got
there's more information, but the one thing I just did a few creates um while you guys were talking. I made it listed out, then I added another user, then I was about to just make it add in her tweets, and then I got called, but I did have uh the association part. Am I supposed to make it like columns and tables?
no. So I guess just we'll just simplify it. Never mind the con I like that were doing the controllers. That was like a bonus kind of thing. So good on you. Um, so for just the associations, I basically want like for example, I see that you already created a bunch of tweets and a bunch of users. So it looks like you already have the first user there. So could you just print out that first user's information just to make sure it's good? Just do like user. Yep, click enter.
User.
That's it, just like that. Just
Oh,
user. All right, cool. So we could see there's John Cruz. And so now how would you grab that user's tweets? So now that you have the user through the association,
through association. So if I asked it to do this, right? So it would be tweets.
wait, so go ahead so to use the association, we're actually looking at the models. So for example, I want you to click into your user model. So we can see that you have this association, has many tweets, and you also have a dependent destroy.
Oh,
No, so you're not going to type has many. So that you'll just leave that there. And so you can just do like user dot tweets. And so you're going to do dot tweets because of that right there. So now click enter. Okay,
okay.
solid. So here's all of John's tweets through the association because you grabbed the user. You did user equals user dot first or whatever it was. And then now
Yeah.
because users and tweets are associated, you're able to find all of John's tweets through that association. And so now I want you to grab the first tweet. So can you grab the first tweet for me?
Tweets. No.
Like tweet equals tweet dot first or something?
Oh,
Solid. Okay, so there's that first tweet. Now I want you to, through the association again, show me whose tweet that is. Nope. So it'll be the tweet.
Oh,
Yeah. So you can do like, so go ahead and click on your tweet.rb now. Click on the tweet model. So the same thing that we did with user, we did user.tweets through the association that you set up here. Now you can go the opposite way, basically.
user.
So that's still just the user, but we're gonna grab that we're gonna try to figure out whose tweet was. So if you type in tweet right now, type in tweet here and then just click enter. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So now we see that we have a tweet, right? So to
Yeah.
find whose tweet this is, we can use this association by going tweet.user.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now we can see the owner of this specific tweet that you have here happens to be John Cruz. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just okay. I see how you did it. So up here we asked for user and then it printed it, and then here we asked for tweet. Or we grabbed the tweet, right? And
Mhm.
then we asked it to through tweet dot user, we asked it to find out whose tweet it is.
Correct.
Okay, I
And
got
so
it.
real quick, could you go back to your user model? What is the dependent destroy? Like what's the reasoning behind you putting that?
Um, if there was any um I think it was supposed to be like a recent destroy too, but it was like I asked AI to teach me how to put a private folder too, and I think it was a part of that. But I deleted that before everything because it wasn't running the same way.
Got you, got you, got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I kind
depend
of messed around with it earlier and I just went back to the basic of it and it ran perfectly kind of fine with all the info. And I didn't want to mess around with it after that, so I just deleted all of that. Maybe this is a part of it.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So the dependent destroy, and actually this would be a good topic for everyone to kind of hear. So dependent destroy, what this does right here is it basically says if you're going to delete a user, delete all of their associated tweets. And so if you don't do this, that could have a lot of issues. So if you'd imagine, we have right now we have an association. So if you create a tweet, it has to be associated to a user. However, what happens if you delete that user? Technically, the user ID that's associated with all those tweets that that user had is technically invalid now. And so a nicer way that we can kind of handle that if the data isn't super important is that we can do this dependent destroy. So if you happen to delete that user, all of that user's associated tweets will also be deleted. Yeah. Does that make
Should I
sense?
try it out?
Yeah, you can. You, by all means, you can. So try
Okay.
deleting John Cruz. Delete the user with ID of one.
So,
Actually,
user.
actually, before you do it, I want you to do tweet.count, capital T, so we can see how many tweets there are before, and that we can actually see that something's deleted. Okay, cool. So you see that there's 5 tweets, right? So now I want you to delete user with ID of one, because we know that this guy has at least one tweet.
Oh shit. We do that right? Nope. Dot
Got you. Okay,
ID.
okay. So this is perfect, actually. Or actually, update or destroy valid. Still reference from table tweets. As many tweets dependent destroy. It should delete it. Could you do hmm. Theoretically that should have deleted it. That's why. Could you do user.first again, capital U? I just want to see. Is it still there? Or did it roll back? Okay, so we still see it's John Cruz. Do a user equals user.first and then user.destroy and then do an exclamation point. I want to see like a explicit error.
User dot first.
And then do
Okay.
user dot destroy exclamation point after the destroy. Yeah, do an exclamation. Yep, click enter. Okay, cool. There we go. So we can see, actually, if you scroll up a little bit, so we can see right there that it deleted all of the tweets where the user ID was one. Yeah, user.id one right there. And so now what I want you to do, so go ahead and go back there. Or yeah, go ahead and go back to browse console. And so I want you to do tweet.count, that same one we did, so that way we can see how many tweets there were. Capital T, because you were going to do all of them. Solid. So now we can see there's only three. Because what happened was, because of this dependent destroy right here that you have, you basically deleted all of the tweets where the tweet ID was one. Because there we did you cut because you use that dependent destroy. And so this isn't one kind of thing that Rails provides that allows us to do. Solid. Okay. You have any questions, Kiko?
No, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'll just keep watching and maybe someone will answer questions that I do have.
Gotcha. Well, if you have any, just let me know. And does anyone have any questions on this idea of dependent destroy or anything? Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, Kiko. All right, Adrian, you're up next.
Hey guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So I was just testing out. For sure, this can actually work. I tested it out with HTTP, and we can see that the IDs and the username and the user email can be seen here. Uh, yeah, you can see everything. ID 5, I accidentally put the. I was testing out the tweet text and user ID, and I accidentally put in the tweet text and user ID, and it came out as null. For the tweets, this is what we have so far. Like the only one I put something for everyone except 4 and 5 because the 4 and 5 are the ones that I recently added for the create. What- and I was testing out getting a single user and getting the tweets for that specific user. So the user equals user dot first, user dot tweets should pop up for the two tweets that I user ID one has. A question I had because like I find it weird when you do user dot find one and then user dot tweets. Oh, okay, it wasn't working earlier. I don't know why, but when I did that command, it gave me an error. I
Yeah,
could roll back all the way in the beginning, but
no worries. I think honestly, I think it's possible that so user.find1 and user.first are technically the same thing. The only time that there will be a discrepancy is if you deleted the user with ID of one, then technically user.first will get you ID of two or whatever it is that's your first number, first ID in your database. That's the only little discrepancy that there could be. But other than that, I think it's possible maybe I make syntax error or like spelling mistakes a lot. So maybe it's possible, there might have been a slight character that you had off. But other than that, like that's the only little discrepancy between user.first and user.find1.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me just test out tweet.user, then
Oh,
tweet.user.username. It
and
will show, yeah, it's just to show like who was the user that made this Twitter post.
yeah, I like
Another interest, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, sorry. I was just saying I like that you chained it all together because I can see it's like, okay, cool. You started with the tweet, and then from there, who's the user that created that tweet? All right, what is their username? It's like you chained that, and I like that you did that. I think that's really cool.
Thanks. Another thing I saw when I was testing it out is like, I noticed here in user email, it just shows filtered. So, I looked this up and it said that, Ruby by default, if there's any like sensitive information, it just filters it out. And if
Mhm.
you want to get this the information. I forgot the command. You're able to directly use a command to get the filtered information. So I thought it was cool that I had that, but I just thought like the code was I thought there was some additional code that I put in here that was unintentional or like it did this. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
thought
think
that was
Matt
cool.
and Junior were just talking about that a little bit earlier. So if you go to
Yeah.
config initializers and then go and click on initializers and then filter parameters and then right there. So if you remove the email, so no, just that you don't want to remove all of those, only the email. So all of those are in there on purpose. So delete the extra, there's an extra comma. Delete the extra comma now. Yep. Okay. Do a space. So all of these are here on purpose. Like by default, you do not, you like, we don't want to be showing passwords, tokens, keys, all these different things, certificates. We want those to be like showing as filtered. Like that's the reason. So now what I want you to do is exit Rails console and then go back in. Basically restart Rails console. So that way this change can take place. Solid. There we go. Now you can see there's all the emails. Yeah. Yeah. So that's by default, yeah. I like that you researched that online and found that out. So yeah, by default Rails does that. It's kind of like a security thing. Yeah. So that's cool. Well, thank you. I think it all looks solid. I'm happy you did the controllers too. It all looks good. Do you have any questions about anything that was going on there other than that one?
No, I just thought like sorry if I share a comment. I'm like, wow, this is really just a baseline for Twitter. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. But
I think it's really cool. You guys, that's the whole thing is you guys created like Twitter API. Yes, Junior.
Man, so I just to kind of add a little bit more to the question with that the filter parameters.
Mm-hmm.
So how did it know, like when we typed in user underscore email, how does it know that that is like a filtered um attribute? Do we have to make sure that we name it a certain specific name and it'll catch it, or like if we put uh user EM, would it not catch it and show the email, or will we have to name it a certain way?
My assumption, and I'm actually not 100% sure, but we could test it out. But my assumption is that anything that includes this stuff, like these characters, like in this order, it's gonna filter out. So for example, and the reason I think that is for one, for you guys were doing email, or a lot of you guys were doing user email instead of just email, and it was still filtering it out. And the other thing is that when I've never used the attribute or the column pass W, but this stands for password. I've always used like the explicit password, and it always filters it out. And so my assumption is that any word, any attribute that you're going to add to the model or any column that you add to your database table that includes any one of these is going to be filtered by default. So it could be like someone password. Theoretically, this would be filtered out. It could be whatever password something. Like if this was the name of your column, like it's going to get filtered out. As long as it has that PASSW or any of these other ones is going to be filtered out. Yeah.
So if we wanted to add like say DOB, then we just put it in there and it would filter it out. Like,
That's a great question. I've actually never added it. And let's go. We're going to try it right now. It's a great question. If I added DOB here, and then let's see, what does my schema look like? Schema. I'm gonna add a schema. I'm gonna add a DOB to suppliers. Rails generate Rails G migration. Add DOB to supplier. Solid. So this is in order. Once again, with the migrations, like this is the first one we created, and then it just goes down literally in order. So if you're ever unsure, like the most recent one is always on the bottom. I'm gonna go add column. It's gonna be to the suppliers table. It's gonna be DOB, and then it's gonna be an, let's say, yeah, whatever, it'll be an integer. Actually, it'll be a string because technically Like the way that I'm gonna write it, the reason I want to make it a string is because I'm gonna write like 7, 20, 99 or whatever it is, I'm gonna add that slash and that slash makes it a string. I couldn't write that. I could write it as a number, like if I wrote it like this, but to me this doesn't look very nice. Like this is 2025, September 2022, whatever, whatever. All right, migrate it. And then let me go into Rails console. I'll verify my schema is solid. So I have solid, I have the DOB. And so if I create a supplier.create name, some name, I don't know, email, some email, phone, 123, and DOB. I'm just gonna put something. Click create. Yep. Cool. So Junior, you're right on the money. If you
Okay.
were able to also filter other things if we wanted to by adding whatever it is to there. Great, that's really cool actually. I didn't even know that. I've never messed with that to be honest. Yeah, solid. Questions, comments about this? All right, cool. It's 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. You guys all killed it there with the thank you guys for all breaking that all down. I really appreciate it, genuinely. And I think it's great practice for you guys for real. All right. So let's take a 10-minute break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna start with the seeds, and I'll explain what that is when we get back. All right. Well, get back at 7:11 because it's 7:01. All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what did I do here? Um, so this isn't something you guys have to, I don't want you guys to remember this. This is not what we're going through, but I just wanted to share that real quick that I added this DOB column and I don't feel like keeping it. I want to roll it back. And so I can, like there is a way to undo a migration basically. So technically what I've been telling everybody here to do is just delete your database and kind of start from scratch. But you can do like Rails DB rollback, and I think it's like step equals 1. Solid. There you go. We can see we reverted that. And so now my schema no longer has DOB. And so if I go back here, now this basically this migration file never ran technically. So if I go like Rails DB migrate colon status, like I showed you guys before, now we can see that last one, add DOB to suppliers, says down, meaning it never ran. All of these other ones have ran, which is why I have a supplier ID, suppliers, etc. And so I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to delete that now since I don't need it. And then filter params, I'm also going to do that. So basically, I just kind of put my thing back into the state that I wanted it to be. I didn't feel like keeping that migration. Bless you. I didn't feel like keeping that migration, so I rolled it back. And I'm not expecting you guys to memorize this, but I'm expecting you guys now that you guys are aware in this scenario that you guys are like, man, I may create this migration, but I don't really want it anymore, actually, or it was a mistake. You guys can roll it back. And there's specific times and places to use it versus not to use it. But it's just something kind of mess around with, or like you learn about. Okay, so the real thing that I wanted to go through with you guys today is if you guys remember, I told you guys that like we cannot push up our database, right? And you can't. Like, I'm not going to tell you guys a way to push up your database because you can't. Like my database that I have locally, like I know this store API actually I remember we did a exercise with this where you guys all cloned this. So I think everybody should have a version of this store API, if I'm not mistaken. And so with that being said, like my store API, like what I have in here, I cannot just give it to you guys. And it's not I cannot just push it to GitHub and you guys pull it down. Like that's not the way it works. However, there Rails does provide, and I think most languages too as well, but Rails does provide us a way to kind of get around that. And it's a way for us to also help with like setting up our application for the first time. So for example, let's say you're just starting at a new company and they told you, "Hey, here's our API, here's our Rails API. I want you to get started." Usually when you're working on a project, you don't want it to have like an empty database. Like you want the database to be populated with stuff so that way you can properly test it, right? You don't want to kind of be starting from scratch, especially at like with a huge code base. Like you don't want to have to create every single thing from scratch. And like for example, just going back to this one that I was showing you guys. So like if I pull up this Hofloa one and I pull up my schema, like this schema is almost 1,200 lines long. If I was to create every single one of these tables from scratch every single time that I reclone this database or I have someone start working with me on this, like that's going to take a long time. So with that being said, a better way to do this is to use this thing called a seeds. And so we can see in DB seeds right here. So DB seeds. So Rails provides this by default. And so what the seeds is it's basically a way for us to kind of have like we can set up kind of what our database would look like we can create fake data or we can create data quickly in a sense. Um, I think it's easier for me to kind of show you guys and then from there then we can kind of circle back to kind of the explanation. So for example, I'm going to pull up my schema on this side just so that way I know what my data looks like. Okay, cool. So I have products and I have suppliers. So let's say that and actually just for this specific scenario, I'm going to drop all of my data in my database. I'm going to start from scratch. I don't want to, but I'm going to do it just for this example. Now I'm going to recreate my database. and I'm going to remigrate it. And now if I go Rails console, and if I go a user, or not user, product.count, I have 0. Supplier.count, I have 0. So basically I dropped my database. I'm starting from scratch. I don't want you guys to do that, but that's what I'm doing. And so now let's say like I wanted to be able to not start from scratch. I wanted to be able to have data. What I could do is I could basically use the same syntax for creating a product and supplier within this seeds file, and then run one command to run everything in here, and it'll populate my database. So for example, I'm going to create a supplier first. The reason I'm going to create a supplier first is because if we remember, because of the association, you cannot create a product because a product belongs to a supplier. We cannot create a product until we first created a supplier. So I'm going to go supplier equals supplier.create. And then from there, a supplier needs a name. So let's say Nike. Email info@nike.com and a phone. Whatever, 800 123 1234. Okay. And so now let's just go ahead and start with this. We'll just start simple. So now in this file, in this seeds.rb, all that I do is I create one supplier. And so now if I run this by going Rails db:/seed, click enter, it ran without error. Now if I go into Rails console, now I should be able to go supplier.count. Cool, now I have one. So let me just see that first supplier. There's that supplier that I just created. Info@nike.com. There's the number I did, etc., etc., etc. And so basically, we can set up our seeds to have a bunch of data like this, like a bunch of lines of code like this, which actually just create a supplier or create a whatever. And so that way, whenever we want to repopulate our database, or if someone's starting on this code base and they need to populate their database with information, they can run Rails DB seed to basically create all of that information. And so that's the idea with the seeds. So technically, no, you cannot, I could not push up I couldn't push up my database. What I can do is I can create a seeds based on my database and push that up. So that way, let's say I'm working with Junior. Okay, Junior, here, I pushed up my seeds. Now you can populate your database to look like mine by running Rails DB seed. Does that make sense with everybody? Yeah. Cool. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. But yeah, so this is the seeds file. And so now I'm just going to continue. And let's say I wanted to create some products too. So I can go like products or product equals product.create. And so I'm going to go, it needs a title. Let's go like um what is a Nike product? I'm going to go Kobe 6, Kobe 6s. I like those shoes. The price, it was like, I don't know, like 150 bucks, let's say. Size, say 12. And I didn't do a description. Let me go ahead and do a description. Description, Kobe's shoes. And then from there, then we have, so I did title, price, description, size. I need a supplier ID. Supplier ID of 1. Okay, and then I'm gonna comment this out, and I'm gonna show you guys why in just a second. So now I'm gonna exit Rails console, and I'm gonna run the seeds again by doing Rails db seed. Okay, cool. We got an error. Let's see, what is our error? Our error is that I didn't put a comma. I can see right there that I didn't put a comma. I see there's comma, comma, whatever. I didn't see it, but I didn't put a comma. Run it again. Solid. No error. We know it went through. Now let me go and open up Rails console again. Okay. And so now if I go product.last or product.first, whatever, cool. There's the product that I just created. And if I go just to test the association, I can go supplier equals supplier.first. And if I go supplier.products, because of the association, I have one product that belongs to my one supplier that I have. All right. So the reason why, real quick, that I commented out this supplier is because we can run this seeds file as many times as we want, but it's going to recreate, it's going to rerun this command every single time. And what I mean by that is now if I run Rails DB seed again, and I'm going to run it 3 times. There, I run it. Now I've officially ran it 3 times from the first time. I'll run it again. There, 3 times now. So now if I go back into Rails console, and if I go a product.all, we can see it created Kobe 6s 4 times. The first time I did it, and then all 3 of the other times that I just did it right now. And so the reason I commented out supplier equals supplier.create is because I didn't want it to create another supplier with Nike. I only wanted it to create this. And so basically the point I'm trying to make here is that every single time you run it, it's going to do whatever's in this file again. So if you told it to do something, it's going to just do it over and over and over as many times as you run this file, as many times as you do the Rails DBC. Okay. There are ways to get around this. You can do like find or create, basically kind of thing. There's like this thing called like, I think it's like find or create by. And so this technically would be like, okay, cool. If you find a Kobe 6, then don't create it, which is kind of cool. So if I do Rails DB seed again, okay, and if I go back into Rails console and do product.all, solid. It didn't create a new one. We can see the first time through we had 4. After I ran Rails DB seed again, it still has 4. You don't have to use find or create by. That's kind of a more advanced thing, which I actually, for the first time through, I more or less want you guys to do this. Just a simple supplier and product or whatever. Yeah, actually, so that way we're on the same page. We'll start with a store API. So everybody should have a store API. If you don't, then I'll share with you what to clone, basically. I'm going to open it up. Let me pull it up. github.com. Let's go. CSG. Oh, CSG. This one. Repo. Yeah, here's the store API. Oh, Slack. So I basically so the exercise for you guys is basically to set up a simple seeds for the store API. You're going to do something very similar and test running it and see what it's like. Okay. Exercise. Open up your store API, clone it if needed. And then from there, find the seeds.rb, update it with, and here's db/seeds.rb, data to create a supplier and product. Let's just start with supplier. With a supplier. Run Rails DB seed to run the seeds. Go into Rails console to view the data you created. Update the seeds to create products. Run the seeds. Go into Rails console to view it again. Something simple. Yeah, so we're going to start with that. All right, cool. Questions before I let you guys go? All right, solid. All right, you guys are good to share your screen and try it out. So now that I'm thinking of it, I think I might have had you guys do different things for the store API. So whatever it is that your store, whatever data whatever like schema your store API has, You would just create it based on that. If yours doesn't have suppliers, don't. Because I'm already looking at some of them and I see some of you guys did like store or other things. And so there's nothing wrong with that. So just note that obviously if you don't have a supplier, then you're not going to create a supplier. So you're going to create whatever it is that you specifically have. I basically want you guys to test out the seeds. And then I'm gonna add a bonus kind of thing as well. Why not? Yeah, so I just added a bonus. Try out the find or create by instead of the regular create.
Hey, Leon, if we don't have the store one, did you want us to clone it or fork it?
Clone it. Go ahead and clone it. I mean, you could fork it if you want. I mean, I guess it's kind of up to you. For simplicity, you could just clone it. I'm not expecting you guys to push up. That's why.
Okay, but if we wanted to like keep it as one
Yeah.
of our stuff, then fork it, right?
Yes, yes. You can fork it by all means.
All right.
Hey, Kiko. Hey, Kiko. So you don't need to generate a controller. We're just gonna do the seeds. So you have it open. Yeah, you have it open there already. I also just shared in Slack. I just added to it. I shared what my seeds looks like, so you guys can use that as a reference or whatever to start out. Hey Matt, what's going on here? Rails DB seed, and looks like you have a pending migration. Okay. What is that migration that's pending?
Oh, I think that one, I think this was during class. I
Okay.
think I was gonna remove something and then I didn't finish it.
Let's just delete that file then. Or before you do it, do Rails DB migrate colon status. I just basically want to see the status of it to see if it ran. All right, cool. It says down. Yeah, just delete the file. All right, cool. Go ahead and try running Rails DB migrate again. All right, cool. Okay, now try you. Did you update the seeds already, or did you?
Oh no, not yet. I was gonna do it now.
Okay, cool. So now you can go ahead and update your seeds and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Leon, I'm getting an error.
Yeah. Let me see. Uninitialized constant supplier. So do you have a supplier table?
I don't.
Got you. Yeah, so there you go. So you're just gonna create, you'll create whatever it is that you have. Like whatever model slash table that you have, that's what you'll create. And you'll do it in the seeds, not in the Rails console. Hey Matt, hold up. Go back there. So it'll be in the seeds, not in the controller. And then also it'll be that technically will be a capital W in work equals work, capital W work. There you go. Hey Kiko, so you're on the right track. But same question as earlier. Do you have a supplier model or table? And you don't need to answer, but that's why you're still getting that same error. So maybe you could take a look at your schema, see what tables you do have, and then basically create one of those. So it seems like you have products and stores instead of products and suppliers. So theoretically, you would create a store instead of or a product instead of a uh, supplier. And not in Rails console in the seeds. We're using the seeds right now. Hey, Kigo, you're really close. So if you remember, when we do like dot create, dot all, dot whatever, it's singular. We're referencing the model instead of the database table. So it'd be like store dot create instead of stores. And yeah, I like that you're changing that too. All right, cool. Go ahead and try it again. Solid. That didn't error out. And so now you can go into Rails console and you can do like a store dot last basically to see to make sure that that store actually did create. There you go. There's the store that you created. And then you just need to figure out why is store 0 when you're putting in a price or something. Solid. Okay. So now you can mess around with this a little bit more, create some products or anything like that. Cool. I'm gonna give you guys a couple more minutes. Hey Matt, what is the difference between this line and this line? Solid. There you go. Try it out again.
Was I supposed to also make the mm, like you see your example, it has like the supplier ID. Was I also supposed to make an ID for mine as well?
Well, it just depends on what your schema looks like. It looks like your schema, you have products and works, and they're not associated in any way. If you look, like
Okay.
there's no
Okay.
foreign key on either of them. So for that reason, no, you don't have to worry about that. But the other thing,
Okay.
take a look at your spelling though. You're gonna get another error.
Hmm.
Actually, try it again. Yeah, I think that looks solid actually. Should work. Solid. That didn't error out now. And now you can go into Rails console and check your work in product. Hey Matt, for you, I like how you're going with the create, but why don't you just do like a work dot last and a product dot last, just to make sure. I just want you to make sure that those created successfully. Solid. There's that Matt cashier, and then just do the same thing for product. Solid. There's that water. Now you can mess around with it anymore, but I just wanted to verse verify and show you that hey, like this ran properly. And so now I'm not saying to do it, but if you were to run Rails DB seed again, you would basically create these two objects again, etc. Like it's just going to do whatever's in that file over and over. Okay. Let's see. All right. You guys are good to stop sharing your screen. All right. How does everyone feel with the seeds? What do you guys think of it? Thoughts? Yeah, pretty okay. Yeah, so this is what when you guys are all asking me those things of like, oh, how can I share my database or whatever, push it up kind of thing. This is immediately where my head was going was this. Because this is the kind of the easiest way to do it. Okay, so there's a few other thing with the seeds that we can kind of go through. I'm actually to make it better, I guess, in a sense. And let's see, let's go ahead and do this. So yes, we can create individual like specific things. Or actually, before we even do that, so the commands in here that we've been kind of familiar with regards to the database, we have like Rails DB create, and I'm not going to run it. Wait, where'd my mouse go? There we go. We have Rails DB migrate, and I'm doing Control C to make sure it doesn't run. Now we have Rails DB seed. And so here's three different commands that we've been using to manipulate our database in some way. Rails DB create, of course, creates our database. Whenever we start a new Rails API or we're cloning a new Rails API, whatever, we always need to do that. Rails DB migrate, where we're doing this whenever we make an update to this migrate folder. Basically, whenever we want to update our schema, update our database in a sense, what our database structure looks like, whether that's creating a new model slash table, whether that's updating a model slash table by creating another migration, etc. So that's what Rails DB migrate does. Rails DB seed is going to run the seeds file. And so basically, whenever we run it, we're running any code that's in this seeds.rb, db seeds.rb. It's just going to run it continuously as many times as you run it. Another command that I want to show you guys is Rails DB :reset. And if I'm not mistaken, what reset does is basically all three of these commands. We can see that, well, actually, the other thing it did was Rails DB drop. So if I wanted to delete my database and the structure of it and everything, I would do a Rails DB drop. And I've had a couple of you guys do that already. So Rails DB reset, let's say, man, like the data in my stuff is corrupted. I want to restart from scratch or whatever it may be. Basically, you want to delete everything and restart from scratch. You can do Rails DB reset, and we can see that it dropped my database. It recreated my database, and then it should have, I don't remember if it migrates too, but then it runs Rails DB seed. So basically now if I go back into Rails console, I should be able to go supplier.all, and there's that supplier. I should be able to go and all right, there we go. Yeah, so product.all, and then there's that product, etc. And so the point I'm trying to make here is let's say you wanted to start from scratch with like whatever is in your seeds, you could do Rails DB reset, and that will drop your database, create it, migrate it, I think migrate it, and then seed it. And it'll do all three of those commands at one time, which is actually pretty cool. Um, because yeah, whatever. We can go through that later. So another thing that I wanted to show you guys is in this seeds file, like there's technically, yes, we could create data like this. Like let's say I just wanted to create really quick data. I didn't care how it looked. It didn't need to be this specific. I could do something like this. I could go like Let's do 5 dot times do. I'm going to create a loop and I'm just going to go supplier dot create. And then I'm going to do like name colon, and I'm going to go I equals 0. We haven't done these kind of loops in a little bit. I plus equal 1. And then I'm going to go the name equals, and it's going to be like supplier, and I'm going to interpolate I. So basically it's going to be supplier 0. Maybe I'll go even, actually I'll start with 1. Why not? Supplier 1, supplier 2, supplier 3, etc. Oh shoot, there's a name. Let's do this better. That. So we got a name. I need an email. It's going to be like supplier I at email.com. And then for phone, we'll just go like 123. I'm just going to put like I in here, whatever, just to change it. It'll be 1231, 1232, 123, whatever. Cool. Now let's try and run this. And actually, another thing that I find very helpful within seeds files is writing like puts 5 suppliers created, something like that. Give like some sort of feedback, give some sort of message. So now if I run Rails DB seed, we can see it runs. And then we also see a little message here that like, cool, there was 5 suppliers created. And we know it was 5 because that's what I did. I could make this a little bit more dynamic, but just for simplicity, here's what I did. And so now if I go into Rails console and I go supplier.all, we can see there's the suppliers that I created. Supplier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, supplier 1 at Gmail, 1, 2, 3, 1, etc., etc., etc. And so here's another kind of thing that you'll often see me do, especially like if we're starting a new API and I just really want some fake data really quick, I'll probably do something like this in a seeds file and then just run it. And if I want even more information, like I could literally just go Rails DB seed again, go back into Rails console and go supplier.all. And so now I have even more, obviously with the same names, but for this specific situation, I don't really care about the names. Like it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care if it's repeating. And I was able to create it really, really quick instead of going through and manually creating it through HTTP or Rails console or whatever. Yeah, does this make sense with everyone? Cool. Um, all right. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of want to let you guys do this one time. And then actually the next thing we're gonna do, we're still gonna be on the seeds. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys do this real quick. Something like this. Exercise. Try using a loop to create X amount of products in your store API. Example. It doesn't have to be products. It could be whatever it is that your API has. Mine happens to have suppliers, so I did supplier. But for you guys, it could be products, could be stores, could be whatever. But I just basically want you guys to try this out to see what it's like real quick. And I'm only going to give you guys like 5 or so minutes on this, and then we'll move on to the next thing. All right. Oh, you guys are good to share your screen and try it out. Yeah, so I'm also adding on just to try out the Rails DB reset. Try out the Rails DB reset just to see it working. How it resets your database, drops it, recreates it, and then reseeds it. Um, let's see. Junior, I like where you're going with this. Um, but because so for I know that yours is like mine, where we have an association between suppliers and products. And so there's a way that we have to handle that a little bit better. Because technically you're going to need to create a product with a supplier ID because they're associated. Yeah. So that's one thing to note. I don't, that's not the error that you're getting. I see it's undefined method name, for instance, a product. I'm not sure what's going on there necessarily, but I'm just saying with regards actually, is it because it's title or like what does our product look like? Yeah, so for product, you're getting that because it's title. It's title instead of name. That's the one that we were testing the migration with. That's what, yeah. So if you changed name, product.create to name instead of title instead of name, right here. So basically that one, it needs to be title instead of name. Yeah. And then the other thing though is you're gonna need to figure out the supplier ID, which I'll show you guys in just a second actually. With some stuff that we can do. Yeah. All right, you guys are good to stop sharing your screen. And let's try this out. I'm gonna show you guys how you would theoretically do associations. Or how you could. I don't say would, but how you could. So I was telling Junior because Junior was doing, I liked it where his head was going, where he was going like, so obviously we did supplier.create, so like product.create. And then it'd be like whatever title. So for this one, I have like title, price, description, size, supplier ID. I guess the first thing I'm gonna show you guys doing it one by one. Before we do it, like in this loop, I want to show you a simpler thing. So going back to this example, actually, let's do this. So one thing that you can do is technically, yes, we're using this supplier ID. That's the column right there. We can see it's supplier ID. Another thing you can do, and this is not specific to the seeds. This is the same in Rails console. This is the same in the controller. Anywhere that you're going to create a product, you can use this. So instead of doing this to make it somewhat dynamic, because like what if the supplier that I'm creating doesn't have the ID of one, you know, or etc. Like, so I want this supplier ID to be referenced to whatever supplier this is. And so actually what you could, there's two different ways that you could do this. The simpler, I don't want to say the simpler, but the more intuitive way is you could go supplier.id. And so now because I'm using supplier equals supplier.create, I'm setting this variable equal to the supplier that I create basically. So basically, I'm going to grab that supplier's ID and I'm going to set it to the supplier ID. And so that's one thing I can do right off the bat. So now if I go Rails DB, I'm just going to reset my database. Why not? Okay, cool. We see it worked properly. If I go into Rails console and if I go supplier, let's go supplier equals supplier dot first. Now we can see that my first supplier is that. If I go product equals product dot first, we can see my product is that. And the other thing though is we can see that supplier ID is one. And that's important because technically we're not hard coding it. We're using a dynamic value. Whatever the value, whatever the ID is of the supplier that we create, that's the ID that we're going to use. And then on that note, I should be able to go like supplier.products, solid, etc. We know the association already. The other syntax that you'll see, and I prefer this because it's easier. To me, this is like more straightforward in the sense that like this is actually what you see there. But another syntax that you'll see is you'll see this supplier colon supplier. And so this should work the same way. And let's just test it out first. And I want to make sure that it works before we go through it. Okay, this does work. Rails console, and actually let me just do Rails DB seed again, just to show it. Rails DB seed, solid, it worked. We can go into Rails console. If I go supplier.all, and if I go product.all, okay, cool. So we can see both. Here's the first one that I created, the first product I created has supplier ID of one, because that's the first time I did it. It had the ID of one. The next time I did it, when I ran Rails DB seed again, we can see now my supplier ID is two for that same product. Because I'm setting technically, the way this reads is I'm setting the supplier for this product to be the supplier that I created first. And under the hood, it's the same thing as if I went supplier ID colon supplier dot ID. So technically this and this is exactly the same. I don't usually see this. Like if you're looking up online on Stack Overflow or something like that or whatever, I don't usually, or like other work that I've seen people do, I don't usually see people do this very often. I more often see this. And so that's why I want to share with you guys this syntax, where basically you're setting you're setting the supplier for this product to be whatever the supplier is that you created using that variable. If I used test, it would be test. And just to show you guys, I'm going to change that to test. And I'm going to run this again, and we shouldn't get an error. If I run Rails DB seed, solid, no error. If I go into Rails console, and I go supplier.all and product.all, we see it still works. Now it's the supplier ID of 3. And that's because when I created this other supplier, which I assigned to the variable test, now this supplier had the ID of 3. That was this one right here. And so now when I set supplier equal to test, that's making it equal to this supplier that I just created. Does that make sense with everybody? Okay. Yes, Junior.
Would we have to make sure that the test creation is done before the product creation? Like if it was
Correct.
okay, because then it in order, right? Okay.
Exactly. So if I did this, I'm gonna move it down.
Wouldn't work.
This will not work. This will break. It's gonna say, what do you think the error is actually? What do you think it's gonna be if you were to give a
It'll
guess?
be it'll be no supplier or no test. Like test is
Yep. Exactly. Undefined local variable method test. So now if I try to run Rails db seed, yep. Well, it says okay, it says wrong number of arguments because it's like it doesn't know what test is basically. It's thinking that
Mm.
it thinks that we're like passing something in. It's confused basically the same thing. But yeah, so that basically, yes, you're right. We have to create this first before we create this. Not only because of the association, but also because just in general, like variables. Like if we try to use a variable before it's declared, you're gonna get an error. Plain and simple. So let me put this back. If I run it again, solid. There now no more error. Cool. So now kind of building upon this, just to show the same syntax using the loop again. So instead of just doing supplier.create, I'm again going to go supplier equals supplier.create. And then now I'm going to do the same thing down here where I'm going to go. So now I don't need to do product equals product.create because I'm not using that product variable. But what I could do is I could go same exact thing basically. I'm going to go title colon. I'm going to give it some random title since I'm going to be like product I. And then we need a price. It's going to be like, let's say it's like I times 10. Description, product, I is description. I'm not sure. I'm not giving it good information, but it really doesn't matter. Size is going to be I plus 10. And then supplier. So again, I could either go supplier colon supplier because that's the variable that I'm using, or I could go supplier ID colon supplier dot ID. Either one, same exact thing. The same reason that it worked up there is the same reason it's going to work down here. Because technically, I'm using this variable supplier and I'm grabbing its ID and setting it to the supplier ID when I create it. Let's go and run this. See what happens. Rails DB seed. Solid. We see it didn't error out. If I go into Rails console and I go supplier.all, solid. There's all the suppliers we just created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. If I go product.all, solid. There's all the products we created. Product 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each one of them is associated with the original product, the original supplier it is that we created. And so that's how one way that we can do that. Does this make sense to everybody? All right, cool. Okay. Let's see. Before we move on, the one other thing that I'm gonna show you guys is just a cleaner way that we could kind of print this stuff out. So I'm gonna put this back to like product equals product.create. And then I'm gonna do product equals product create. And then I'm gonna go like every time we go through, I'm gonna do puts created. Let's go like supplier.name. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for product.title, whatever. So that way I'm getting a little bit more feedback for how many for what exactly we're doing. So now if I go Rails DB seed, we can see created supplier one, created whatever. And we could make it even nicer than that. But more or less, I'm just trying to show you guys some different things you can do. There's so many different things you can do in here. But really the goal here, the ultimate goal or the ultimate thing that I want you guys to get out of the C's is it's like this is a file that you're going to use. So that way, whenever you want to reset your database, whenever you're having someone else basically get started with your application or whatever it may be, like you want to share what your database kind of looks like, you're going to use a seed more than likely. Like it's one easy way that you guys can set it up. Yeah, if there's anything you guys get from that, it's that. I will share the syntax. I'm not gonna have you guys do this one just because like this is kind of just a nice to have of like if you wanted to use like a times loop to create 5 products and suppliers or whatever it is, you can. So I'll share this code. I'm not gonna have you guys do it. We'll take a quick 10-minute break after this, and then from there, we're gonna move on. We're still gonna be with the seeds. There's one more thing that I think is really cool to share with you guys, and it's this thing called Faker. And it's actually a really cool way to create fake data. Example using a loop to create associated data in the seeds. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break. We'll come back at 8:21 and yeah, we'll continue. All right, welcome back, everybody. Share my screen. Okay. This. Okay. All right. So, the next thing with regards to seeds, is this works. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. If I needed something quick, by all means, I will use this. Like, you guys will 100% in the near future see me you do something like this again. However, there's a really, really cool library or gem that somebody created called Faker. And so I literally just typed in, so if you type in Faker by itself, like if you just type in like Faker gem or Faker library, you're gonna get like basically Faker isn't something specific to Ruby or specific to Rails. So I would type in like Faker Ruby. And then from there, this first link right here, this is the one that I'm clicking on. And so basically, Faker allows you to create fake data really pretty easily, which is actually really, really cool. It seems like it came from Perl, which is another language. So that's interesting. I never actually read that part. So, for example, actually, the first thing we need to do to use this, and actually, I don't think in Ruby, I don't, or even in Rails, we haven't done this yet. We haven't used another gem yet, which is cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the usage. Yeah, getting started right here. Because I want us to get used to reading documentation and figuring out how to use these different things. Okay, so I'm gonna comment all of everything in my seeds. I'm just commenting out. So the first thing we need to do, based on its documentation, and let me go and do this, is we need to install this gem. So whenever we're installing a gem, if you remember when we were doing it Ruby by itself, we just did like gem install, I think it was like HTTP was the first one or gem install JSON or whatever. And then from there, then in the file, at the top of the file, we did like require JSON. And so that was the original way we did it in Ruby. In Rails, we're going to do something similar actually, but it's going to be slightly different. Basically, we need to instead of us doing gem install faker to install it on our entire computer, we're specifically going to install it in this Rails application. And so we're going to first scroll down to the bottom, and all of our gems are in this thing called a gem file. So here's where all of the different gems that our application uses is basically. So we're using Rails 8.2. I'm using Rails 8.2.1. PG stands for Postgres. Puma is how we turn on our server. We're not using JBuilder, but this could be something dealing with like serializer, bcrypt, like password encryption, but we're not using those stuff. But obviously the stuff that's uncommented is the stuff we're using. So with that being said, basically we need to add this. So it says start by including faker in your gem file. So I'm literally just going to copy that. And you can put it really kind of anywhere you want. I'm just going to put it here. So I'm going to put gem faker and maybe I'll even put a comment. Fake data. I don't know. Whatever you want. And so whenever you're editing this gem file, whenever you add a gem especially, the first thing that you do is you run bundle install. A couple of you guys have had to do that before, but the idea with bundle install is this is the command to basically run this gem file and install any new gems. We can see resolving dependencies, fetching faker, installing faker. So basically bundle install kind of went to this gem file and kind of did gem install faker. That's kind of what it did in a sense. So anytime that you're reading documentation and you're going to use some new gem, you're going to come here to the gem file, you're going to add it here, and you're going to run bundle install. And so that's the first thing that we need to do. Add the gem. The next thing, it's pretty much just use it. Okay, cool. So it says to add require faker to the top of the file. So I'm going to put that at the top. Require. I'm actually just going to delete everything here on the top of this. I don't need any of that. Require faker. And then from there, now it just says we can just use it. So for example, and I'm just going to test this out. I'm not actually going to create any data. I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm going to do like puts, and then it says I could go faker name dot name. And this should give us a new name every single time that we run this file. So let's go and try it out. If I go Ruby, I mean not Ruby, Rails DB seed, run it. So we see, I don't know, some interesting name. Run it again, some other interesting name. Run it again, Mason Skiles. Run it again. The basic point that I'm trying to make here is that fakers basically, it's kind of like, in a sense, it's kind of like an API that's just full of a bunch of fake data. If I wanted a full address, I could go here and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go puts that. And I'm even just to print it nicer, I'm just going to do like puts and some lines. Now, if we run this, it should give me a fake name and a fake address. Solid. That's a fake address in Kentucky, I guess. I don't know if this is a real place or not. I don't I'm expecting it to not be a real place. If and also the other thing is for a complete list of generators, we can click see generators. And so now like here's some default ones. We can get fake apps, fake avatars, fake business, fake whatever. If we wanted fake sports, all right, let's look at basketball. Cool. So here's some, I can do team, I can do player, coach, position. So give me some fake teams. I'm going to do this puts again. Do like puts. Give me some fake players, etc. Let's see. Let's run this now. Solid. Okay, so we got a fake name, we got a fake address, and we got a James Harden of the Charlotte Hornets, which obviously doesn't play there, but whatever. That's what this is random stuff it gave us. Which this is really, really cool. And so basically the point of Faker, the main point that for this situation is instead of us give, for example, in this 5 dot times loop, instead of us creating a random, this like really generic name, this really generic email, and this really generic phone number, and even product names, we're going to change this to use Faker to give us actual information, like actual fake data. That's the whole idea with it. So now that we know this works, we can see how to get the syntax. I'm going to delete all of that because I don't need that anymore, but I still need the require faker. And so now I'm going to go down to my 5 dot times loop and I'm going to change this. And let's go ahead and look for some random names. Let's see. I got movies. Maybe what's the default one? Is there like fake? Yeah, fake company right here. Let me see. Fake company. Company name right there. That's exactly what I want. Faker company name. So instead of it being that, I'm going to paste faker company name. Email. See, do we have email in here? There's a bunch of stuff in here. It's actually really interesting. Yeah, I don't want any of that. Let's go. There's a fake email. Where's the email? Email. Email. Okay. What would email be under? Address? Maybe under address. Email address. City, street, mailbox, zip code, state. Whole bunch of things. Okay. Where is email? I want to find email. Email. Games, sequence, locations, quotes, music, future. Is there like person? Let's see if there's like person. Phone number. There's no email? Are you serious? There has to be an email. I swear there was. I used it before. Name. There has to be. It has to be under name. Swear. No? No, not name. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna look it up. Faker Ruby email. Look it up. Okay, cool. So internet, it's under internet. Okay. Oh, right there. There's internet. Okay. Internet, there's email. And if we want, it looks like there's even like different things that we could do with email. Maybe we wanted it to have a different domain. Maybe we wanted it to have a different name, like whatever at whatever. I don't really, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to use a regular generic email. So instead of what I have in there, I'm going to paste faker internet email. Phone number, there's definitely a phone number when I saw it. Where is it at? Phone number. Give me a random phone number right there. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Yeah. Okay. Paste that there. Let's do a product as well. Why not? Actually, before we're doing a lot of stuff. Let's go ahead and try running it first. I'm gonna go Rails DB reset. I want to reset my database. Cool. We can see it created all these different companies. Very cool. Let me go into Rails console. If I go supplier.all, we got Row LLC with some random emails and phone numbers. Kohler Inc., Ryan Spencer, oh, I don't even know, Russell, Patterson, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we got a whole bunch of like, this looks like some real information, like if you're not really paying attention to it. And so again, this is the point of Faker, is that it allows us to, instead of using really generic data, we can actually give it some like real looking data. So that's the idea. And so theoretically, I do the same thing for the product. And so for you guys, I'm going to share this gem file. And actually, just for so everyone's on the same page, I want you guys to re-clone this API. Store, not what is this called? Store API? Yeah, it's the Store API. So I want everybody to re-clone this API. Junior already did it, so that's fine. But everyone else, I want you guys to re-clone it. So that way, I want everyone to be on the same page. And basically, what you're going to do is you see that I already did the supplier one. I want you guys to do the product. Give it some good title name, some price, some description, some size. The supplier ID, obviously, it's going to stay the same. But yeah. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do, clone the store API. And you'll probably need to, dang, you'll probably either need to put it somewhere else. Basically, this store API cannot be in the same place as your other store API because you cannot have two things named the same, basically. So you just need to kind of put it somewhere else. Get it, clone it, and then you're of course going to need to create the DB, migrate the DB, and then from there, use this seeds and try it out. Rails DB seed. And then from there, after that, go into Rails console, see your fake data. I'm so sorry. Actually, before you do that, you're going to need to install Faker. In your gem file, add the following to the gem file. Run bundle install. And from there, add require Faker. To your seeds. And then from there, then use this seeds. Finally, after that, go into Rails and then update the products part to use Faker data as well. Test it out. View your data in Rails console. All right, cool. And then also I'll just share, let me share the link to the Faker. Yeah, all right, cool. So basically, I want you guys to, if you didn't already, let me close these. If you didn't already, re-clone the store API. I just want everybody to be on the same page with supplier and products. That's the basic idea. Create the DB, migrate it, install Faker. and you can go check the Faker documentation. And it also basically just says to add this to the gem file, run bundle install, and then add the require Faker to your seeds. And then you're going to use this seeds. Feel free to copy and paste it. And then from there, go into Rails console, update the products part of your Faker data. After you see the fake data, I want you to update this product to use the Faker data, kind of similar to this, and then test it out, all that kind of stuff. Cool. Does that make sense, everyone? Solid, solid, solid. All right, you guys get to share your screen and try it out. And half a day.
Leon, are we cloning the story PI all over again?
Yeah, I just wanted you to clone it because I wanted you to because I want everyone to use that same seeds, that's why. And
Oh, okay.
technically all you guys have different you guys have different applications. Like you have store, other people have I think store as well actually and different things. But you have to clone it in a different folder. So like you cannot put it in projects or maybe to be simple, do cd dot dot one time. Yeah. And then do like mkdir test. I don't know, whatever. And then now cd into test. Okay. And then now do the git clone. Because now this is no longer just in regular projects. This is in the test folder. So it's a little bit different, basically. Yeah, because basically, if you tried to clone this in your projects folder, because you already have a story API, there would have been a conflict and it would have been confused. So you just have to kind of get around that. Perfect. Solid. Nice. Looks like we're all doing the same thing. I see you're doing it too, Adrian and Matt. I saw you do it too. Okay, whose screen is this? Wait, why are you getting that error? Whoever's getting that issue with dropping or resetting their database, I've seen a couple times already. Give me 1 second. I don't know why you guys are getting that, to be honest. Like, I don't know what other session is using it, basically. Um, hmm. Hey, Kiko, for you, you just need to CD, make sure you CD into the store API. So basically, yeah, that like this is like a generic message that basically says, hey,
Oh,
like you're not in a Rail, you're not in the Rails API, basically. Solid. Now, whatever command it is that you ran up there, you can run it again and it should work. Okay, cool. Go ahead and do the Rails DB, do a re DB reset because so technically because it's called Store API, you're using the Store API from your other one. So yeah, so you can see that you dropped it
so
and
do it all over again now?
no, so reset did create, migrate,
Oh,
should
okay.
have done actually go ahead and do Rails DB drop and then DB create, DB migrate. I'm sorry. Just because I want to make sure that it's using this updated schema. Yeah, do drop and then create and then migrate. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, and then do migrate. I just want to make sure we're using the updated one. Okay, cool. It seems like it worked. All right. So now, yeah, you go ahead and continue with the exercise now. Junior, for you, I don't know why you keep getting that is being used by. Do you have like an open Rails console or something? Is there like a Rails console open somewhere? Why are you getting that? So it's basically saying it's being used by something. So like if you have a server on, if you have your console on, or something like that, that's what theoretically is using it. Um, is your terminal by chance using it? You have like another terminal window open? No, it's not. Okay. So we have a way that we can, so if you do Rails DB drop colon force, basically like click the up arrow and just do colon force. You can kind of like force it. Yeah, just do
Slash
colon. Oh, just colon and not slash colon. This
Rails
should
DB
like,
drop.
yeah, perfect. Try clicking enter. Uh, okay, that didn't work. I swear that worked. Let me see. Mm.
Just get out and come back in.
Sure, why not? Yeah, let's go and try that.
Okay, so here and then and Rails.
Leon, are we also cloning the faker gem?
No, do not. Yeah, don't clone that.
So do we add it with git add or
No, you're going. So you just follow the. So you're just gonna add it to your gem file, run bundle install, and add require faker to your seeds.
okay, okay.
Um, shoot, Junior, could you try Rails? So the Rails DB drop colon unsafe instead of force, do unsafe. Yeah, I think that was the force was old syntax. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Why is it doing that? Hmm. Can you try without the underscore? Click the up arrow one time and try without the underscore. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. I mean, ultimately, Junior, it's not an issue that it's not dropping. It's just the other data is still going to be there in your database,
Okay.
ultimately. Yeah, so it's okay for now. Yeah, I don't know what's running on your computer, but something's running and it's using it.
Right there. Maybe I just need to shut down and
I mean,
my
also
computer or something like that. Or is it
we could
maybe
try
this?
running the command I just sent you in Slack. So that command basically checks port 5432, which is where Postgres is running, and it checks to see if there's anything there. And if there's something there, then we'll know, basically. Okay, cool. So there is something running. Okay, so we can kill that process. Let me see. What was the command to kill it? Because I remember you were having this issue the other day too, I think. So might as well just fix it now. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, okay. So it's gonna be kill dash nine, kill space dash nine,
Dash nine.
and then it's gonna be the PID ID, or technically PID stands for process ID. So 67416. So sorry, not PID, yes, be this right here, this number. So that PID stands for process ID. So basically what we're doing is we're killing that process.
Hmm. Could this be like I didn't shut down a server or something like that, the Rails server, and it just hung
I
around?
Potentially. So before I've seen, so this is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Usually if you leave a server on, yes, then it is possible. However, it'd be running on locals, it'd be running on port 3000, not 5432. To me, it seems more like you left maybe a Rails console window open or something like that. Yeah, so go ahead and
Oh,
click enter now. Solid. And then just click the up arrow until you get back to the LSOF one. Yeah, now click enter. We just want to make sure it's, let's see. Does that look the same as the other one?
do I just put 53992 now?
Yeah, I guess try that now. What is using your, what's going on? Okay, try checking again. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, let me look something up. Hmm.
This is
Okay,
actually kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
you're trying it out,
If
Kiko?
Yeah, I'm trying it out. This is pretty dope.
It
It's
is.
just a way to you're trying to make us see it in real life, kind of like
Yeah,
farm, whatever. Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty wild.
Okay, Junior. So what I want you to do is do brew services stop PostgreSQL. So I believe what's happening with this now, every time we kill it, it's just Postgres
Was
is
it?
turning back on.
Mm.
Yeah. So go and do space and then stop and then PostgreSQL.
Yes, right?
Yep, perfect. And then go and click enter. Okay. Now click the up arrow and change stop to start. And we're going to turn it back on.
Good.
Yep. And then now try the Rails DB drop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
cool. All right. We needed to restart Postgres. There you go.
Okay. Um, so if I did Rails DB reset, it would run everything.
Yes, everything in your in your seeds.
I kind of like dropped something that wasn't there, but then it did the other two stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Solid.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian, I'm looking at your stuff. So, don't worry about CDing into the gem file. Let's just go into the file. So, like, scroll to the bottom. Scroll, keep scrolling. There's the gem file right there. So you're gonna add the faker gem in here. Anywhere you want in here. It really doesn't matter where. As long as it's not in here. Anywhere else above there, like any of those lines, it really doesn't matter. So you're gonna add the faker gem now.
Sorry, how do you add it again? My bad.
You're good. You just add gem quotes faker. Yep. And then you just run bundle install to install it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna get Stassi real quick. And then yeah, we'll continue this when I get back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Solid. Solid. Okay, looks like everyone's doing pretty good. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to share about Faker. Actually, that's really all. I was gonna have you guys kind of like use like do the Twitter API one, like update it to use Faker as well. But yeah, I don't think I really have anything else on this. Does anyone have any questions about Faker, about the seeds or anything like that? Yeah. Everyone feels pretty okay with this stuff? Yeah. So yeah, so today was a pretty chill, pretty mellow, I'd say. Just kind of seeds, Faker, different syntax for that. Um, yeah, we could go into new stuff, but I feel like we're at a good spot right now. Tomorrow, I guess, sorry, to start wrapping up. So tomorrow the plan is we're gonna go through something called a serializer. And so, kind of similar to what Adrian and Matt did the other day with their project with regards to like customizing the JSON response, instead of it being the default JSON response, basically, it's like, what if we wanted to add more things to it? Or what if we didn't want to include created at and updated at, for example, and we didn't want to include that for whatever reason in the JSON response? Like, how could we do that basically? And so that's what we're going to work on next is how can we customize that response? Yeah, so that is what we're gonna work on tomorrow. Yeah. All right, cool. I don't have anything else. I'll hang out for a little bit if anyone has any questions, any comments, or wants to go through anything. But I think other than that, we can actually end kind of on time today at 9 o'clock. So thank you all for being here. Again, I'll hang out for a little bit. But yeah, you guys have a great night. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And actually, sorry, before you guys go, is everyone good for Friday still in person? Solid.
Wait, what are we doing on Friday?
Oh, you weren't here on Friday. I forgot.
Nope. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Or did I feel like I sent it. Did I send it?
Wow, no invite.
Oh, I
Wow.
sent it. Yeah, I
There
sent it.
was an invite.
Damn,
There
dude.
was
I'm
an
not gonna
invite.
bring
Yeah.
anything. I'm not gonna do any. No, I'm just joking.
No, so this Friday. So I put it in general actually. Yeah, it's in general. I see it. I sent it last week Friday. So this Friday we're gonna do in person. We'll like all be in person basically. Um and I was verifying that everyone's still good with that.
Where at?
In Agania at our office. We have a little office
Okay.
space there. It's
Okay.
right
That
next to
sounds good.
Carabao. Like literally the building right next to Carabao.
Right, perfect. That sounds cool. Same time or class time or?
Yeah, same time. We'll end probably at 9 exactly. Yeah, 6 to 9. We'll get there. Whatever. I'll probably be there from like 5:30. You guys can come whenever. I'll send a pin, maybe I don't know, one of these days coming up. Because we'll do it Friday. And then yeah, I'm gonna bring a TV that I can like screen share to. So that way you guys can obviously we're not gonna be on Zoom. We're gonna be on that. Maybe I'll have Zoom open so that way I'm like recording it for you guys, but other than that, like we won't be on Zoom. But yeah, so just bring your laptop, bring a charger in case you might need it. And yeah, that's really it. And I'm thinking we'll do like like order pizza or something. That way everyone can eat whatever. We have a more mellow day that day. We're not gonna do anything too crazy, but we are obviously gonna still be learning and going through some new stuff. Cool. Just wanted to verify that. Solid. And I'll verify with Ron and I'll remind you guys again Wednesday. I'll do another reminder like Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, cool. I'm excited to meet everyone in person. All right. Well, you guys have a great night and yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You guys.
Hey,
Everyone.
you guys.